Hey there, and welcome back to the Fave Self CEO podcast. I'm Kayla Evans, and after 7-ish, almost 8 months of not recording a single show, I am back. And I originally thought that this first podcast back could be a bit of a catch-up of most of the things that have happened since I've been gone. You know, kind of where I've been, what I've been up to, what's been going on now. But to be honest, that was the plan like 3 or 4 months ago when I originally tried to record this podcast. But what happened was I put it off, and then I put it off again and again, and I kept putting it off. Even though I missed the podcast, and even though it is one of my fave things to do in the whole world, I just kept finding reasons to not do it, and I just kept finding myself avoiding it. And then as we know, that resistance to doing the thing just gets bigger than actually doing the thing, and it gets way worse. And then it hit me one day as I was facilitating a workshop for this fabulous group of folks. I was literally teaching them about habits that we have that erode our confidence. So the things that kind of hold us back. And one of the worst ones is actually breaking your word to yourself, right? It's when you say you're going to do something, you tell yourself, I'm going to get up earlier and go to the gym, or I'm going to drink 4 glasses of water, like whatever you're going to do. But then you continuously not do it, or you put off the thing that you want to do or you should do. That is one of the worst things to erode your confidence, because it tells your brain and your subconscious that you cannot trust yourself. And confidence is literally self-trust. It's the trust you have in yourself. So if you know what I'm talking about here, those behaviors just make that gap even bigger. That resistance just gets even bigger. And I obviously not immune to that, even though I know this stuff, even though I was teaching this stuff. Like, I've been a speaker for over 20 years now, and I was still avoiding this podcast microphone. It's literally my art. Like, the one thing I do is jab my jaws into a microphone, and it's the one thing I could not find myself doing. So I got home from that workshop. It was amazing. I loved it. But that nagging feeling, it was still rattling around in the back of my head. And I just thought, you know what? You got to grab your mic. You got to jump on here. You just have to get it out. You just have to get it done, right? Just get that momentum. Done, better than perfect. Then when I actually sat down to hit record, and I even sent out an email back on April 27th, I had to look at it. If you are subscribed to the Fave Self Society email list, you may have read it. And if you aren't subscribed, you can head on over to faveselfceo.com after this, scroll down to the bottom, you can subscribe there. Well, I sent out that email, and apparently that email just made me a big old liar, because when I went to record, I kid you not, I could not find my mic adapter. And I have never in my entire life replaced that or misplaced that thing. I just did replace that thing. I have never lost it. I know exactly where it sits on my desk and where it's been sitting in relation to my microphone for a decade now, because I'm still using my old school TV mic, which I used to record back in my TV days. I use that to record into my laptop. So without this little adapter, I can't do it, right? And it just took me forever to find a replacement one. This mic's really old, but I love her and I can't get rid of her. So anyway, longest story longer. That brings us to today, this moment right now, almost 1 month after I said I was going to be recording a fresh, shiny new episode. Here we are. So I think, and I truly believe that the last time I was here on the podcast, I was talking about September, like that's how long it's been, and the September gauntlet. And things obviously took a bit of a turn since then, and I did step away, and nothing absolutely horrible happened. It was like a series of, what do they say, like a series of unfortunate events, a series of like little tiny things that just kind of piled up, but I did have to take some time off. And the other thing that kind of fed into this extended hiatus was the fact that at the end of last summer, I actually changed my company name. Like, I rebranded from Hey Kayla Media to Fave Self CEO. And I know I did a podcast on that as well before I disappeared. So a part of me, I guess I was feeling this pressure with the rebrand now that the podcast has to be different somehow, right? Maybe better. I don't know, have video. I have to have, that background that all the podcasters have with those really nice, beautiful wooden wall slats in the background. Guest across from me, we've got these nice boucle armchairs. Like, maybe that's kind of what I was envisioning. And then I just started to think, like, you get down the rabbit hole of comparison, and it kind of got me stuck for a little while. And no shade to anybody who has that podcast set up. It is beautiful. I would love to emulate it one day. But honestly, this podcast for me is just supposed to be an audio diary of my life. I used to go live on Instagram a lot, and this podcast is kind of the natural progression of that, because the thing I miss most about live television was just being back at the TV and radio stations, talking with the audience, talking with your co-host, jabbing your jaws. And to me, like, I'm perfectly happy right now. I am literally sitting in my robe. Todd is snoring away behind the door. If you hear him barking, it's because he wants in the office, but I will not let him in here. My mic, a cup of coffee, just chatting, jabbing my jaws. That's what I always wanted it to be. So I was putting this extra pressure on myself to maybe do it differently now, or maybe have some sort of fancy launch of this new brand. And that weighed on me actually quite heavily. And then the thing that I mentioned before was that the more time that passed, the worse that feeling got, right? That resistance. And I also started to think that maybe after taking 7-8 months off of something, it wouldn't be as good, or maybe I wouldn't be as good as I was. And I think that that's a perfectly normal feeling when you take a break from anything. When you start to get back into it, it's kind of like, is it going to be as good? Do I have anything left to say? Do I have anything of value left to give? All of those things kind of tied together for me. And that's what prevented me from getting back on the podcast. I mean, minus replacing tech equipment. So I just want to start really by saying, if you have something like that in your life that you've been putting off, or something that maybe you're returning to after a break and you're feeling some nerves or anxiety about it, I think it's natural, and you are definitely not alone. And I'm literally working through this stuff, a lot of stuff that I teach right now. And if you're also sitting there telling yourself, well, I should know better. You know what? Sometimes we do know better. I do. But we're human, and we're still going to fall to our human habits. So regardless of what's been going on, I'm back at it. I hope that gives you a little oomph. If you're resisting something, the resistance is usually, I would say 90% of the time, worse than the actual thing. So that is my super long intro. We're going to get into it. You may want to grab a coffee, maybe a snack, because I feel like this is going to take me a little while to get through. So again, September is usually one of my busiest times of the year. I call it my gauntlet, lovingly call it my gauntlet. It is this rush of like really big, important, fun events. Definitely busy, definitely full of pressure, but a lot of fun. So I'm going through September. I'm crushing it. I'm feeling so good. I was taking care of myself. I was eating clean. I was hitting my protein goals. That's another thing about being influenced by others on social media. Protein became like the thing all of a sudden. I mean, if you've tracked macros, protein's obviously important, but everywhere you look now on social media, it's all about hitting those protein goals. So I was in my fitness wellness journey. I was setting my day up. I had those peaceful morning walks out in the country with Todd. I was getting my workouts in. I was sleeping well. I was like the healthiest I think I have ever been. I wasn't the thinnest I have ever been, but I was the healthiest mindset with my health and fitness I have ever been. And I was like dedicated, to just setting myself up for success with these big events. So I was going through September. I was returning for a new season as an NHL and AHL game host for the Jets and the Moose. I was emceeing some of my most favorite charity events. There's this croquet tournament where the theme this year was heroes and villains, and I made fantastic use of my old Maleficent costume. And then I do a fall fashion show every September that I MC. Definitely do not model in, but I MC it, and I absolutely love it. I did not wear the Maleficent costume there, but I love these events. And then I had to this day, I've done a lot of cool things in my career, but to this day, this workshop is probably one of the most meaningful things I've ever done. I was invited to do a workshop for the Terry Fox Research Institute. And I was coaching and working with cancer survivors and cancer patients on how they can better and more confidently and more comfortably tell their story, whether at conferences or when they're talking to researchers, when they're talking to different cancer teams, when they're talking to the media. And I don't think I've ever had an experience that touched me like that. It is something that I will always remember. It's got to be one of the most impactful life moments. I can't even properly tell you right now. I've got goose pimples just remembering that workshop. It was so special to me. That was in the middle of September. So even though it was amazing, my emotions were running really high. I also started another season as a TEDx speaker coach. Let me tell you, this year's group is unreal. We're just under a week away. It's coming up next Thursday. I'm sharing that process over on my Insta at Faith Self CEO. Also, May 28th, like I mentioned, we still have some tickets left, tedxwinnipeg.ca if you want to go grab some. What else happened in September? Oh, September kind of going into October. I received an award, which is like the first time, I think probably since high school that I actually got an award for something. I received the Volunteer of the Year award from the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, right? Like, I don't think I brag about a lot of things, but Volunteer of the Year, I will definitely brag about that. It was a huge surprise for me. It was obviously a huge honor for me when I got the email. Like originally I thought when I read the email, I thought they were asking me to MC the Volunteer of the Year, like banquet event, luncheon kind of thing. I didn't realize that they were like, oh, it's you. So I saved that email. It's in my bank of badassery. And this beautiful award has a very prominent spot on my bookshelf here in my office. I'm tongue-tied. It's still like sinking in sometimes when I look at it. I'm just so proud of that thing. Helping people. Oh, what a good feeling. Obviously, we don't volunteer for the accolades, but it is so nice to be noticed and to be thanked. I'm so proud of that thing. What else happened? Oh, yeah. Obviously, like I said, I decided to rebrand and relaunch my business from Hey Kayla Media to Faith Self CEO, which is something that I had wanted to do for a long time. But last summer, if you were following my journey, I had moved out to the countryside. So I was in this beautiful, peaceful country lifestyle, the long walks down the gravel roads. I was drinking my coffee out on the back porch, looking over the fields. And I was just feeling really creative. And it just came to me one day, like the kind of core or ethos of what I do is teaching people how to become or how to step into their favorite versions of themselves. Like everything you do, I want you to feel comfortable. And I want you maybe not to be your most perfect or best or ideal self, but your favorite self, the one that you love the most. That's how I want you to feel. So I'm super happy about the brand change, but I mean, branding is not really my thing. And it's been a big learning situation. So that pretty much takes us through most of September. And I kid you not, it was the very last event of the gauntlet, the very final event, end of September. I'm still flying high. I'm crushing it. I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm getting my awards. I'm just so excited for life. And then I was emceeing, like I said, my last event of the month. And it was an event where very sadly and very tragically, a gentleman ended up passing away at the event. And although the organizers and everyone involved did a great job of handling everything, they were so professional, they were so caring. Everybody handled a horrible situation the best that they could. It rattled me more than I originally thought it did. I spent most of my career in a newsroom, and you see some things and you report on a lot of not great things. So I always felt like maybe I was slightly more jaded than other human beings, but I'm really not. So I chose to take a step back from events for a little while, and just take care of myself before I returned to a really busy hockey season. And it just felt right. Well, it didn't feel right. My body, I felt very off, but it felt right for me to not go back to the stage right away. And I didn't want to just move on like nothing had happened. So I'm good now. I mean, it will stay with me. That's a horrible experience for everybody involved, and especially for his poor family. But that's probably the biggest thing that made me take a step back. And then after that, a few other weird things happened too. Without being so like gloomy Gus right now, it was in that window of time where I had also learned that one of my dearest friends and a former co-host of mine had passed away. And that pretty much broke my heart. And that hit me in a couple different ways. Obviously, losing somebody who you love so much and somebody who you've known for so long, but she was quite young. She was my age. And that also kind of hit me with a different level of you don't know what's coming, right? And nothing is promised to you. So just, you know what I'm trying to say? Like make the most of each day. That was a very tough one too. And then my living situation on the farm came to an end as well, which completely took me by surprise. So if you've listened to previous episodes from the summer, I had envisioned all these plans for the farm. I had moved back to my family farm. I was under the impression that I would be purchasing it, and I thought I was going to live there forever. It was my home. Like, I had even named it Moonbloom Meadows. And let me tell you, that was like the perfect shitstorm, to be honest, of taking an 8-month break. Mourning the loss of someone you love along with the home that you loved was crushing. And then experiencing, I don't want to call it a setback, but experiencing something so harsh in your environment, like your work environment, which is also something that I love so much. I care so deeply about what I do, that to have something so tragic happen in my happy place when I'm in my happy zone, I was down and out, let me tell you. And without sounding like the most pitiful thing ever, I had to take a step back, and from that point on, I pretty much did the bare minimum in every area of my life. I spent a lot of late nights like crying and moping around on my aunt and uncle's couch. And again, I do feel a lot better now. Therapy is a wonderful thing. Time is a wonderful thing. I think I'm still in disbelief at everything that happened, especially towards the end of 2025. And if it wasn't for my aunt and uncle, and some of my best girlies, Kyla and Janet, for checking on me, I would probably still be spinning out, hiding on that couch with Todd, eating family-sized bags of chips and rewatching Superstore a dozen times because I think America Ferrera is like the prettiest girl ever. But I was feeling very unsettled, not only physically. I mean, I had to find a new place to live for Todd and I, but emotionally, right? Letting go of that dream of living on my beautiful acreage. I was also kind of embarrassed because I made a big deal about living on the farm, and I made a huge deal about how it was going to be my forever home. There's a whole podcast episode. I considered taking it down, but you know what? I feel awkward and slightly embarrassed. So I want to leave that up there because if anybody else has kind of made a goof or an oopsies, I don't want them to feel like they're alone. You know what I mean? If somebody else can kind of listen to that and be like, oh, well, her life massively changed and she just flowed with it. That's the kind of example I want to be for people. I don't want to be that glossed over perfect version for folks. So I'm going to leave up those embarrassing podcasts up there. But let me tell you, it always works out. It does, right? And I found the cutest little place to land. I am so happy and grateful, again, that it all worked out. Todd and I are loving our new space. And despite all the really weird shit that happened at the end of last year, I'm really okay with everything that happened because, like, the spiritual woo-woo side of me knew that the year of the snake, right, last year, 2025, was a year of shedding. And, like, it's more than okay to let things fall away. So I'm not going to spend, like, my time and energy fighting to hang on to things that obviously aren't meant for me, right? Like homes, people, maybe opportunities. Like, why fight it? Why make things even harder for myself? So 2026 is a year that I'm really trying to put the focus on inhabiting space. So every year in the new year, I pick like a word of the year, right? It's not a Kayla thing. Everybody does it. And my word of this year is inhabit, as in, can I inhabit this space? Like, I'm not trying to reinvent myself. I'm not trying to align with anything. Oh my God, I used to love that word, right? An alignment. I want to live inside my days, right? My routines, my work, my boundaries, my relationships. I'm not going to force myself to fit. I want to inhabit my space and my days. And that's become my decision filter. Instead of asking, like, is this smart or is this right? Or my favorite question I used to ask myself all the time, should I do this for the long game? Instead, I'm asking myself, can I actually inhabit this? Can I show up to this commitment without resentment? Can I afford this energetically, not just financially? That's a huge one for me. Does this thing fit the life I'm living now, not the one I used to think I needed? Because a lot of us keep memberships, obligations, routines, relationships because we've already said yes once, or because it feels comfortable, or because we're people pleasers, right? But my word inhabit gives me permission to say, this no longer feels like home. And that doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it different, right? This isn't about doing less for me. It's about choosing what actually feels livable. And that is the energy I want guiding this year. Because let me tell you, the end of 2025, what I just complained about for the last, where are we at? Oh my gosh, 20 minutes. That was a train wreck. 2026 is not going to be a repeat of that, let me tell you. And this podcast, it passes that test. Can I inhabit this? Oh yeah. I'm in my fuzzy bathrobe right now. I'm recording. It is, what time is it? Is it 5:12? Oh, it's 5:12 on a Friday evening. And I am happy. I'm so happy to be back. I'm hopefully going to be back with a new episode every Friday. I'm going to do my best, but if my previous few months' history have shown me anything, it's I'm just going to keep asking myself, can I inhabit this? And so far, I can. I love this podcast. I want to keep at it. I don't want to go anywhere. Plus, there are so many huge, exciting things in the works right now. I can't even believe it sometimes. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So you can either follow the show right here on Spotify. You can join me over on Instagram at FaveSelfCEO. And you can also subscribe to the Fave Self Society. You can go to my website, faveselfceo.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. There's like a little box. You can enter in your name and your email. And I will not spam you, but I will send you loving updates probably once a week. I'm going to try to stick to that. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in, for sticking around for now. We are well over 20 minutes as I jab my jaws and catch you up. I appreciate you so much, and I will hopefully chat with you next Friday.